All right, so get this. NVIDIA just announced this thing called Project Digits at CES.
Yeah.
And they're calling it a personal AI supercomputer.
Wow.
A supercomputer on your desk.
That's pretty amazing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, NVIDIA is known for pushing the boundaries when it comes to AI hardware.
Right.
But this is a whole new level.
Remember when we thought those fancy gaming PCs were like the peak of processing power?
Yeah.
Well, this little box is packing a petaflop.
Wow.
That's 1 quadrillion calculations.
A quadrillion?
Per second.
It's hard to even imagine.
It's like having the power of 1,000 gaming PCs shrunk down to the size of a Mac Mini.
That's incredible.
1,000.
And that's really what makes this so significant. You know, we're talking about bringing the kind of computing power that was previously only accessible to like giant tech companies and research labs.
Huge data centers.
To the hands of individuals.
So instead of renting time on some massive data center in the cloud, you could be training your own powerful AI models right on your desk.
That's the idea.
I mean, what could you even do with that kind of power?
Well,
besides, you know, finally beating level 100 on that ridiculously hard mobile game.
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Imagine researchers being able to run complex simulations to understand climate change or develop new drug therapies.
Wow.
Or startups creating innovative AI-powered applications without breaking the bank on cloud computing costs.
That's huge.
The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, so how does this thing actually work? What's inside this magical AI box?
So NVIDIA has developed a brand new superchip specifically for Project Digits called the GB10 Grace Blackwell.
GB10 Grace Blackwell.
It combines a super powerful GPU, the kind you find in high-end gaming PCs, with a 20-core CPU.
Wow.
Plus, it has 128 gigabytes of unified memory and up to 4 TB of storage.
It's a beast.
Basically, yeah, it's a beast of a machine.
And to think just a few years ago, we were marveling at smartphones with like a couple of gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
This thing is on another level.
For sure.
But how user-friendly is it?
Right.
I mean, do you need a PhD in computer science to even turn it on?
Well, that's the surprising part.
Okay.
NVIDIA seems to have made a conscious effort to make Project Digits accessible to a wider audience.
Yeah.
It runs on a Linux-based operating system that's specifically designed for AI development.
Okay.
And it comes preloaded with NVIDIA's AI software library.
Nice.
It even supports popular programming languages like Python and frameworks like PyTorch.
So even someone with, say, moderate coding experience could potentially start tinkering with this thing.
Yeah, potentially.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit intimidating.
It's powerful stuff.
It certainly has the potential to democratize AI development in a way we haven't seen before.
I think so.
But with great power comes great responsibility, as they say. Speaking of responsibility, let's talk about the price tag.
Yeah.
This thing's going for a cool $3,000.
$3,000.
Not exactly chump change.
It's a significant investment for sure.
Right.
But you have to consider what you're getting.
Yeah.
You're essentially getting access to a mini data center. Right on your desk.
Wow.
In terms of AI processing power per dollar.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else like it on the market.
So maybe not for casual browsing or binge watching Netflix.
Probably not.
But for those pushing the boundaries of AI, this could be a game changer.
Absolutely.
And NVIDIA didn't stop there.
No, they didn't.
They also announced a couple of other interesting projects at CES.
They did?
Oh, right. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this Thor computer I keep hearing about.
Okay.
Sounds pretty epic.
So Thor is specifically designed for autonomous vehicles and robots.
Okay.
Think self-driving cars, delivery drones, even robotic assistants.
So Thor is like the brains.
It is.
Behind the brawn.
Yeah, you could say that.
Of these robots.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's all about processing the massive amounts of data generated by sensors in real time so these machines can make decisions and navigate the world safely.
Wow.
Pretty impressive stuff.
And then there's Cosmos.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Cosmos is a software platform that uses a mind-boggling 20 million hours of video footage
20 million?
To train AI models to better understand the real world.
Okay, that's a lot of screen time.
That's a lot of screen time.
Even for me.
even for me.
But what's the point of all that video watching for an AI?
The idea is to create AI that can not only see and hear, but also truly understand the world around it.
So we're talking about AI that's not just mimicking human intelligence, but actually learning and evolving in its own way.
That's the goal.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
And that's what makes all of these NVIDIA announcements so fascinating.
Yeah, I think so too.
They're not just about making faster chips or building cool gadgets. They're about pushing the boundaries of what AI can do and how it will shape our world.
Exactly.
And it all starts with that little black box called Project Digits, right?
And in a way, yeah, I think it's a symbol of the democratization of AI. A tool that could empower anyone with an idea and a keyboard to make their mark on the future.
Now I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to unpack the potential impact of all this?
Well, that's a conversation for part 2 of our deep dive.
You're right, we do.
We've got a lot more ground to cover.
Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get really interesting.
So we were talking about the potential impact of NVIDIA's Project Digits. And how it could democratize AI development.
Yeah, like suddenly everyone has access to their own little personal AI lab. What kind of crazy innovations could we see if this technology becomes widespread?
Well, think about it this way. We've already seen amazing things happen with AI in areas like image recognition, natural language processing, and even self-driving cars. But those advances have largely been driven by big tech companies with massive resources.
So you're saying Project Digits could level the playing field, allowing smaller companies, research teams, even individual developers to compete in the AI arena.
That's the idea.
Imagine a world where a small startup can develop an AI-powered medical diagnosis tool that's just as accurate as something developed by Google.
It's possible.
Or a group of students can create an AI system to help farmers optimize crop yields.
Yeah, there are so many possibilities.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the entertainment side of things.
Of course.
What about the impact on gaming? Could we see a whole new generation of hyper-realistic AI-driven games?
Absolutely.
NVIDIA's already a leader in gaming graphics.
They are.
And their new RTX 50 series graphics cards, which are based on the same technology as their AI chips, promising some seriously impressive visuals.
I've seen the demos, and they're incredible.
So we're talking about games where the characters and environments are so lifelike.
Yeah.
It's practically indistinguishable from reality.
It's getting close.
Sign me up. But it's not just about the graphics.
No, it's not.
AI could also play a role in creating more dynamic and engaging gameplay.
For sure.
Imagine characters that learn and adapt to your playstyle. Or game worlds that evolve and change based on your choices.
That would be amazing.
But let's step back for a moment. And talk about the potential downsides of all this. What about the concerns around job displacement? Or the possibility of AI becoming too powerful?
Those are definitely valid concerns.
I mean, we've all seen those sci-fi movies where robots take over the world. It's important to have open and honest conversations about these things. But it's also worth noting that throughout history, new technologies have often led to shifts in the job market.
That's true.
And AI is no different.
So instead of fearing job losses, we should focus on adapting and retraining for the jobs of the future.
So we need to focus on education and training programs that equip people with the skills they need to thrive in this new landscape.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But what about the concerns around AI becoming too powerful or even dangerous?
Well, it's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. The key is to ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly and ethically.
So we need to be careful about the data we feed into AI systems.
That's a big one.
And make sure they're aligned with our values and goals as a society.
I think that's crucial.
That sounds like a tall order.
It is.
But it seems like NVIDIA is at least trying to be part of the solution. They've talked about their commitment to ethical AI development and working with organizations to address issues like bias and fairness.
It's encouraging to see that they're taking these concerns seriously. But ultimately, it's going to require a collaborative effort from governments, industry leaders, researchers, and the public to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about the values and principles that guide its development and use.
Exactly. We need to think carefully about the kind of future we want to create with AI.
Yeah.
And work together to ensure that it's a future where technology empowers humanity
Okay.
rather than diminishes it.
That's a great point.
Thanks.
And it brings us back to the idea of Project Digits.
Yeah.
And its potential to democratize AI development.
Right.
What do you think the long-term impact of this could be?
If we can harness the power of AI responsibly and ethically, the possibilities are truly limitless.
We could see breakthroughs in healthcare, education, sustainability, and countless other fields.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
It's almost like we're on the cusp of a new era of technological advancement.
I think so.
And Project Digits could be one of the key drivers.
It could be.
But before we get too carried away with utopian visions,
okay.
there's one more aspect of NVIDIA's announcements we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, right. We haven't talked about their work in autonomous vehicles and robots in detail.
Exactly.
Their new Thor computer is specifically designed to handle the massive computational demands of self-driving cars and other autonomous systems.
So we're talking about the brains behind the self-driving revolution.
Pretty much.
That's huge.
It is.
And NVIDIA is just focused on the hardware.
Right.
They're also developing software platforms like Cosmos, which uses millions of hours of video footage to train AI models to understand the real world.
That's right.
Wait, so they're basically teaching AI to drive by, showing it tons of dashcam videos.
You can say that.
That's both impressive and a little bit scary.
I know, it's pretty wild.
I mean, what happens when the AI starts driving better than us? Will we even need driver's licenses anymore?
That's a question for the future.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the potential of Project Digits to democratize AI development.
Right.
To the ethical considerations we need to address.
Yeah.
To the impact on gaming and even transportation.
It's a lot to think about.
Is there anything else we need to unpack before we move on?
Well, there's one more thing I think is worth mentioning.
Okay.
And that's the importance of staying informed and engaged in the conversation about AI.
Okay.
This is a technology that has the potential to profoundly impact all of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's crucial that we're all part of the conversation about how it's developed and used.
So you're saying we shouldn't just sit back and let the tech companies decide the future of AI?
That's right. We all have a stake in this.
Okay.
We need to make our voices heard.
Whether it's through supporting ethical AI research, advocating for responsible AI policies, or simply educating ourselves about the potential benefits and risks.
Exactly.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
I completely agree.
That's a powerful message.
Thank you.
And I think it's a perfect segue into the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
Where we'll explore some even more thought-provoking questions about the future of AI.
Sounds good.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with part 3. Sounds good. And you know what that means?
What's that?
It's time to get philosophical.
All right, I was hoping you'd say that.
So we've talked about the practical implications, the potential benefits, and even some of the risks.
Yeah.
But now let's really push the boundaries of our imagination.
Okay.
What does the future hold for AI?
Oh, that's a big question.
Hit me with your wildest AI predictions.
Okay. Let's start with something that's already starting to happen.
Okay.
The blurring of lines between the physical and digital worlds. Okay.
With technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And AI becoming more capable of creating realistic simulations.
Right.
We could be headed towards a future where those lines become increasingly difficult to distinguish.
So you're saying we could be living in a world where it's hard to tell what's real and what's simulated.
Yeah, I think that's a real possibility.
That's both fascinating and a little bit terrifying.
It is.
Think about the implications for entertainment education.
Yeah.
Even scientific research.
For sure.
Imagine attending a virtual concert where you feel like you're actually in the crowd.
That would be amazing.
Or exploring a simulated rainforest from the comfort of your living room.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
But what about the potential downsides?
Okay.
Could we end up in a world where people are so immersed in virtual experiences
it's possible
that they lose touch with reality?
That's a valid concern, and it's one we need to be mindful of as these technologies develop.
Yeah. But it's also worth considering the potential benefits.
Yeah.
For example, could virtual reality combined with AI be used to create therapeutic experiences for people with PTSD or anxiety disorders?
Okay, yeah.
Or could it be used to train surgeons in a safe and controlled environment?
Those are some really interesting applications.
Yeah, it's a powerful technology with a lot of potential.
It seems like with AI, there's always this duality of potential benefits and risks.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations,
Yes.
to explore all sides of the issue,
Right.
and to approach AI development with a sense of responsibility and ethical awareness.
Speaking of ethical awareness,
Yeah.
one of the things that keeps coming up in the news is the potential for AI bias.
Right?
How do we ensure that AI systems are fair and impartial,
That's a crucial question.
especially as they become more integrated into our lives?
AI bias is a real concern.
Yeah.
And it stems from the fact that AI systems are trained on data,
Right.
and that data can reflect existing biases in society.
Okay.
For example, if an AI system is trained on a data set of images that mostly features white men,
Yeah.
it might be less accurate at recognizing women or people of color.
So how do we fix that?
It's a complex issue.
Is it simply a matter of feeding AI systems more diverse data sets?
That's part of the solution, but it's not that simple.
Okay.
We also need to be aware of the potential for bias in the algorithms themselves, in the way the AI systems are designed and trained.
So it's not just about the data.
It's about the whole system.
It requires a multifaceted approach
It does.
involving diverse teams of developers, rigorous testing and evaluation, and ongoing monitoring for bias.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process.
It sounds like creating ethical and unbiased AI is an ongoing process, not just a one-time fix.
Exactly. And it's a process that requires collaboration and input from a wide range of stakeholders, including ethicists, social scientists, and the public.
So it's not just about the technology itself,
Right.
but about the values and principles that guide its development.
Exactly. We need to be intentional about the kind of future we want to create with AI.
Right.
And that means having thoughtful conversations about ethics, responsibility, and the potential impact on society.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of just how complex this whole AI thing really is.
It is complex.
It's not just about cool gadgets and futuristic robots.
It's bigger than that.
It's about the very fabric of our society.
Right.
And the choices we make about how to integrate this technology into our lives.
I think that's a really important point.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the fascinating world of technology and ideas.